I came across a short video of my girlfriend. She was casually lying on the bed at home, wearing a white t-shirt and jeans. Her left hand was tightly holding someone else's hand, but that hand wasn't mine. On Monday at work, my colleagues were looking at me with knowing smiles. After the meeting, Manager Ken patted my shoulder and said, "Hiro, you're something else. Congratulations on your engagement to Hana." As soon as he finished, the whole office erupted in cheers. Before long, words like wedding candies and having kids filled the air. Naturally, I was surprised and happy, so I thanked Manager Ken for his kind words. However, I couldn't help but ask everyone, "Guys, I never posted anything on social media or sent out invites. How does everyone know?" My colleague, Yuki, immediately pulled out his phone and opened TikTok. "You're quiet, but Hana's already made it official," he said. I looked at the screen and saw that my girlfriend had posted a new video, set against the backdrop of our recent trip to Sanya Sunshine Beach, and palm trees filled the frame, and she was wearing a colorful vacation dress. Under her radiant smile, she said, "I've made the most important decision. I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Hana is a short video influencer. Thanks to her pure and innocent looks, combined with her self-taught photography skills after college, she has built an online presence with an artistic, fresh, fairy-like image, mainly sharing her own travel and scenery photography. Proudly, she considers herself a travel photography influencer with over 50,000 followers. However, during the year we've been together, we've kept our relationship private. She told me that influencers lose followers when they're in relationships, so I respected her choice. As a programmer with such a girlfriend, I felt like I was already lucky. Hana also showed great interest in my work and often visited me at the office, especially in the last few months. Naturally, the sudden appearance of such a beautiful woman in the office turned some heads, and my relationship with an influencer became an open secret at work today. As Hana prepared to reveal our relationship, I thought it was about time to stop hiding it. So I couldn't help but tell everyone, "Actually, last week in Sanya, I proposed to Hana." As soon as I said that, the entire office broke into applause and congratulations. Ding! Most of my colleagues' phones went off. "Oh, Hana has posted another video. Everyone, check it out." I couldn't resist opening my phone and checking out Hana's profile, eagerly waiting for her to mention my name to her followers. But what I saw next left me stunned. In the short video, my girlfriend was wearing a white t-shirt and jeans, lying casually on the bed at home. Her left hand was firmly holding a man's hand, but it wasn't mine. Hana smiled sweetly and said, "Hello, everyone. I'd like to officially introduce my boyfriend, Nick." A guy in a matching white t-shirt waved at the camera. A female colleague gasped and said, "I know this guy. He's so fresh and handsome, also a photography influencer. They're such a good match." Realizing what she had just said, the colleague quickly covered her mouth. The entire room fell silent. Everyone either left the office or changed the subject. Yuki patted my shoulder and tried to comfort me. "Bro, stay strong." How was I supposed to stay strong? I had just proposed, and my girlfriend announced on TikTok that she was cheating on me. I felt so embarrassed and hurt that I wanted to bang my head against the wall. My dedication to Hana wasn't just romantic. I wanted to spend my life with her. But now, what was she doing? Could there be something I didn't understand? I rushed out of the office and immediately called Hana, but she wouldn't pick up. I sent her a message on WeChat, trying to stay calm and hoping for an explanation. Still, Hana didn't respond. That's when I thought of her mother, Mrs. Lin. I had met Hana's mother some time ago. I'd bought her gifts and taken her out a few times. The reason was simple. Hana grew up in a single-parent household. She had told me that her father cheated on her mother, leading to their divorce when she was young. She was raised by her mother, who worked hard to support her. Mrs. Lin had a love for gold and silver jewelry and paid close attention to her lifestyle. Since she was going to be my future mother-in-law, I didn't mind helping her out financially. But there were times when I wondered if Mrs. Lin really lived as frugally as Hana had described. Whenever I questioned it, Hana would reassure me, saying that once she became an adult, she'd make enough money to support her mother and allow her to enjoy life. Mrs. Lin, despite being in her early 50s, spent most of her time idling occasionally. She'd help Hana with her studio or life, but most days she played mahjong with friends outside. Since we'd started dating, I felt that Hana's mother liked me a lot. Every time she saw me, she'd greet me warmly, calling me Hiro. I believed she'd be on my side, so I immediately called her. Sure enough, I soon heard the comforting words I was hoping for. "Oh, Hiro, it's not what you think, it's just a business collaboration." Mrs. Lin's response was far too casual. The affection and intimacy in the video couldn't possibly be business. I said painfully, "Aunt Lin, I actually proposed to Hana during our trip to Sanya. We've come so far. How could she announce a fake boyfriend now?" But the older woman just laughed coldly. "I heard from my daughter, but I haven't agreed to let my precious daughter marry you." I was stunned. Was this really the same Mrs. Lin who used to grab my hand and call me Hiro? I couldn't believe it. I told her, even though Hana didn't say yes explicitly, she accepted the engagement ring I gave her and even let me put it on her finger. Her voice on the other end remained dismissive. "That's a separate matter," she continued. Sounding mocking, I could picture Mrs. Lin's heavily made-up face. "What's so special about a ring? At least come up with a dowry of 1 million first." I considered myself a decent-looking guy, standing 1.8 meters tall and having graduated from a top university with a degree in computer science. At 28, my monthly salary was around 30 to 40,000. I had hoped to save enough to buy a house in this semi-first-tier city, but for Hana and her mother, I had become someone living paycheck to paycheck. Whenever I was with Hana, I made sure to provide her with the best experiences, whether it was the finest food, the best clothes, or the most luxurious hotels during our travels. I had always done my best to make sure she had the best, all while hoping to be with her. Mrs. Lin knew well that I had become financially strained because of them, yet now she was using that very fact to turn down our marriage. Could there really be such ungratefulness in a mother and daughter? Perhaps sensing my anger, Mrs. Lin said, "Hiro, you're a good man, but my daughter is now a celebrity. Her influence and earning potential far exceed yours, so I suggest you act sensibly." With that, she hung up. I was so furious that I wanted to smash my phone, but then I remembered Hana might have some hidden reasons behind her actions. Since I still loved her, I couldn't bring myself to believe that everything we had shared was just a lie. Trying to keep my composure, I quickly asked her to meet me for dinner later that afternoon. She finally replied, but refused, saying she had a live stream during dinner time and couldn't make it. Back at the office, I returned to my desk, took a long gulp of water, and tried to calm down. Then, I opened TikTok and searched for videos from this Nick guy. My anger nearly made me spit out my water. Nick was also in Sanya on the same day Hana and I had been there. He even posted a video. What's worse, he had visited many of the same places where Hana and I had traveled together. Sharp-eyed fans in the comments pointed out that Hana and Nick had apparently been interacting for over a year. Comments like, "I'm shipping them," "Nick and Hana are a great couple," and "they've been dating for a year now," flooded the comment section. I took screenshots of everything and sent them to Hana, waiting for her explanation. Just then, I received a message on WeChat. "Hiro, please come to Manager Ken's office." Ken, the head of HR, had called me to his office again. Recently, the company had been looking to promote middle management, and Ken was in charge of this task. My projects over the past 3 months had been very successful, bringing in significant revenue for the company. When everyone heard Ken call for me, they all looked at me with surprise, and I felt a surge of confidence. Yuki, who sat next to my desk, looked at me enviously and said, "Brother Hiro, don't forget about us when you get promoted." I walked into Ken's office, filled with hope, and sat down in front of the nearly 50-year-old, always stern-faced manager. But today he unexpectedly smiled and poured me a cup of coffee. I was flattered. The usually proud Ken was offering me coffee. It seemed my recent performance had finally been recognized. Ken sat back in his chair and said, "Hiro, I actually wanted to speak with you privately right after the meeting. As you know, the company has always respected talent." I began to feel nervous, but Ken quickly continued, "However, you also know that the internet industry is going through a tough time, and many companies are laying off employees." Hearing this, my mood instantly dropped, and I opened my mouth to speak, but Ken motioned for me to wait. He said earnestly, "Don't worry, you're a key member of the company and we still need you. However, we may need to temporarily transfer you to Group C." Group C was the company's layoff group, designed to reduce severance costs by temporarily downgrading employees. Once you entered Group C, your benefits and treatment would be downgraded, and without projects, you'd soon be forced to resign. No one had ever come back from Group C. It felt like a slap in the face. I could hardly accept it, and my heart boiled with resentment. When I left Manager Ken's office, I received a WeChat message from Hana, just 3 words. Let's break up. I had lost everything: my girlfriend, my job, my financial stability, and my heartfelt emotions. I had thought our relationship would last forever, but she dismissed me with those 3 simple words. I couldn't understand how everything had gone so wrong. As soon as I entered the company restroom, I broke down in tears. As a grown man, it felt like I was releasing all the pain and frustration I had bottled up over the years. At that moment, Yuki patted my shoulder and handed me a tissue. Brother Hiro, don't be discouraged. We all know about your transfer to Group C, but it's not your fault. If you want to blame someone, blame your influencer girlfriend. My crying stopped abruptly, and I looked up in confusion. How does my transfer have anything to do with Hana? I asked. Yuki leaned in and whispered, Actually, a lot of people have seen Hana coming in and out of Manager Ken's office frequently. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it, and accused Yuki of spreading rumors, but he insisted that several people had seen it, and he swore on his honor. He also suggested I check the company's surveillance footage if I didn't believe him. He mentioned that part of the company had long held grudges against Ken's management style. Could it be that Hana and her mother had abandoned me because they had found someone else to support them? The more I thought about it, the more everything began to make sense. My resentment toward them grew deeper. A plan for revenge began to form in my mind. 1 month later, I stood at the high-end cosmetics counter in a luxury brand store in a high-end shopping center. I watched as Mrs. Lin applied a sample face cream with her entire palm, not caring about the rude gesture. No amount of makeup could conceal the wrinkles from her forced smile. Not bad. This suits me. Hiro, I'll take this one. Then let's go next door and pick out some clothes. I've gained weight and don't have anything to wear. I almost burst out laughing at the way she ordered me around, but I kept my expression serious and stepped forward to pay. All right, Auntie Lin. So, is there really no hope for Hana and me? I asked. Oh, you're a good person, but you just don't make enough money, she sighed, rubbing the cream on her hands. But since you still know how to show filial piety, as long as you can ensure my quality of life in my old age, I might consider it. Mrs. Lin raised her hand and suddenly showed 5 fingers. I also raised my hand and smiled. So you're saying Hana and I still have a chance? I asked. Oh, you're so naive, she said. What I mean is I'll give you a discount of 50,000. If you can come up with a dowry of 950,000, then I might consider it. I was stunned. This mother was practically selling her daughter. After all the sincere feelings and effort I had invested in this mother and daughter, it turned out to be nothing but a delusion. That realization only strengthened my desire for revenge. I suppressed my anger and smiled as I said, But I can't come up with that much money right now. I was buying gifts for Auntie Lin on credit cards. I couldn't just beg on the street, could I? She didn't care which card I used as long as the money came in. That's all that mattered. There's always a chance, she said. Otherwise, no way. Just then, Auntie Lin's phone rang, and her expression instantly changed. Oh, Sister Liu, I can't play cards today, she said. It seemed to be one of Auntie Lin's card-playing friends. Although she and Hana weren't originally from the city, they quickly integrated and made connections. Before long, Auntie Lin had friends from all walks of life, and I'd heard that she enjoyed gambling, sometimes with quite high stakes. After she hung up, her face turned sour. Concerned, I asked, Auntie Lin, why aren't you playing cards today? Didn't Hana give you any living expenses? She did, Auntie Lin murmured, but it's not enough. In fact, Hana probably gave her quite a bit, likely over 10,000 a month at times. Knowing Auntie Lin's greed, I suggested, why don't you get a credit card, Auntie? You can spend in advance, and even if you can't withdraw cash, you can buy gifts and offset the cost. It's like carrying extra money with you. Auntie Lin, who didn't know much about credit cards, was thrilled at the idea. Is there really such a good thing in the world? She asked, excited. I patiently explained, yes, I can drive you to the bank to apply for one right now. But remember, Auntie, don't exceed your limit. Before I could finish, Auntie Lynn grabbed my hand eagerly and pulled me out of the mall. No more talking, Hiro. Forget the clothes. Just take me to get a credit card, and don't let Hana know. Without hesitation, I cooperated and drove Auntie Lynn to the bank to help her apply for her first credit card. A month later, Hana's live streams were buzzing with activity. After announcing her public relationship, Hana's followers skyrocketed past 1 million. She live-streamed often, selling products while maintaining her sweet, innocent persona. Thanks to her relationship with Nick, she adopted a new persona fitting the current trend, the sweet fairy sister with her young, handsome boyfriend. They even made vlogs together. Hana not only gained a larger male fan base, but also attracted numerous female fans. Her lifestyle and approach encouraged many girls to boldly pursue relationships with younger men. One night, during her live stream, a fan named Heartbroken Bro sent the largest gift of the stream. All the fans considered Heartbroken Bro to be the top fan. Hana coquettishly smiled at the screen, saying, "Thank you, Heartbroken Bro. With my company, you won't be heartbroken anymore. Love you, moi." But beyond the screen, all I felt was disgust and nausea at Hana's smile. Hana didn't just manage her persona online, she lived it in reality. To this day, she hasn't apologized to me. I'm like air to her, as if our relationship and feelings never even existed. I was merely a cash machine during Hana's transition phase in life. She would never guess that I am Heartbroken Bro. Not only did I become her top fan, but I also became the leader of her fan club. I created a short video account specifically for Hana's fan group, where I compiled and shared her previous materials and daily life. Sometimes I even shared exclusive photos and videos. Unknowingly, this account gained around 100,000 followers. I also set up WeChat fan groups to interact with other fans. Fans said I must be a true fan because I knew so much about Hana. Yes, every time I made a video about Hana, I did it with tears, but after each release, I was filled with intense hatred. Hana abandoned me, betrayed me, and played with my feelings. A week later, I teased the fan groups with a special evening live stream, attracting a large number of hardcore fans. However, when the fans entered, they immediately started cursing because the live stream appeared to be just an ordinary office corner. About 10 minutes later, the office door opened and closed. A man and woman in uniform entered, hugging and kissing. Soon the man began groping the woman and she didn't resist, moaning, "Ken, you're so naughty." The fans quickly became excited, and the viewership skyrocketed. Some fans eagerly commented, "That woman looks like Hana." "No, that's Hana." The voice, the figure. How could Hana be with an old man so disgusting? Just as the couple was about to get more intimate, the live stream was shut down. I soon received a violation warning from the short video platform, but it didn't matter to me. My message had already been delivered. The fan groups exploded with activity, as some sharp-eyed fans took screenshots and posted them on Weibo, questioning what they had seen. Soon, hashtags like Hana's persona collapses, Hana and Ken, and You're so naughty began trending. In one night, Hana confirmed her own betrayal, having an affair with an older man. In reality, Hana had been having an affair with manager Ken. Though I had been lying low in Group C, I hadn't given up on investigating through my research. I discovered that Hana and Ken had been seeing each other in the office at night, when there were fewer people. Once I figured out their secret meeting times, I took the risk and arranged for a special live stream. I asked my colleague Yuki to place my spare phone in manager Ken's office and start the stream. Sure enough, fate was on my side. This live stream caused Hana and manager Ken to face the consequences of their actions. The internet went wild, with most fans angrily condemning Hana. As for me, I suddenly felt calm. Alone at home, I opened a bottle of beer and took a long drink. I was still hoping for an apology call from Hana, but instead, I received an anonymous text message. When I opened my phone, I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. "How dare you? Apologize publicly before midnight tonight and admit that you were wrong. This week, you can be transferred to Group A immediately and win the biggest prize in this year's year-end raffle." The message clearly had manager Ken's tone. To clarify, I was originally in Group B, but had been optimized into Group C. Group A was the department everyone dreamed of joining. The grand prize for the year-end raffle was usually a car, but it was almost always won by the company's leadership, a huge scam. Now I understood that fairness didn't exist in this company. Everything was manipulated. But I'm a programmer, making a living with my skills. I don't need their charity, and even at this point, they showed no remorse toward me. At midnight, they received no response from me. At 1 a.m., I saw Hana's new Weibo post and a new short video. In the video, Hana, unusually without any filters, was crying, her eyes swollen and looking exhausted. She repeatedly emphasized that she had been secretly filmed and that she was the biggest victim in this situation. According to her, the events in the video were just a rehearsal for an office anti-sexual harassment play. She said she was preparing to transition and had signed a collaboration agreement with my company to create short office dramas. Hana claimed that it was meant to surprise her fans, but it unintentionally turned into a scandal, for which she was deeply sorry. She then spoke about the challenges women face in the workplace, hoping to set an example and encourage women to be aware of workplace sexual harassment. Hana also warned her followers not to believe any out-of-context, secretly filmed videos, and announced that she would pursue legal action against the heartbroken bro who had betrayed her. To be honest, while Hana's explanation was weak, she delivered it with confidence and played on the emotional theme of workplace struggles for women. Nick also stood up, looking like a heartbroken boyfriend, to back up her story and confirm everything she said as the truth. Quickly, many fans chose to believe her, and a campaign to hunt down heartbroken bro spread rapidly on the internet. Trending topics like Hana is innocent, Hana's new attempt thwarted by secret filming, and who is heartbroken bro gained traction. Hana's follower count on short video platforms didn't just remain the same, it skyrocketed to 2 million. The next morning, I took a leave of absence from work. That's when I received a call from Auntie Lynn, angrily cursing me out. "You scoundrel! Don't ruin my daughter's future. Don't interfere with her success. Manager Ken has powerful connections," she yelled. "All the things you bought for my daughter and me, I'll send them back to you today." The more she cursed, the more I laughed, because I had recorded the entire conversation. Thanks to Auntie Lynn, Hana now had an incompetent ally. Around 2 p.m., a large package arrived for me. When I opened it, I found that the cosmetics were either empty bottles or used packaging. The clothes and bags were either torn or old. This old lady was still scheming, not returning everything. Not to mention, the engagement ring I gave Hana was missing. I let the situation simmer a little longer. My heartbroken bro WeChat account had been buzzing all day with notifications. As midnight approached, I calmly opened my document and posted an article I had prepared for Weibo and the fan groups. The title read, "Let this truly heartbroken boyfriend speak about Hana." In this 1,000-word statement, I recounted my entire journey with Hana, from our first meeting and falling in love, to her betrayal, hiring Nick to play the fake boyfriend, and her affair with manager Ken. Of course, my narrative was emotional, but it was based on facts. To ensure the article was compelling, I had asked Yuki to review and edit it. It seemed like a personal statement, but it was a meticulously crafted piece of revenge. Sure enough, the internet exploded again. This time, because I revealed that I was Hana's real boyfriend, public opinion shifted in my favor. Nick couldn't take it anymore and posted on Weibo, claiming that his relationship with Hana was purely business. He even shared photos of their contract and revenue-sharing agreement, with key details blurred out. Manager Ken, using a disguised account, tried to defend Hana online and criticize me, attempting to control the narrative. But I posted screenshots of the text messages he had sent me, and this time both the disguised account and Manager Ken himself were exposed by netizens. Manager Ken chose to remain silent. As the saying goes, every man for himself in times of trouble. However, even at this point, Hana showed no remorse and didn't attempt to contact me. The day after I posted my statement, Hana's Weibo was updated again. This time, under her mother Auntie Lynn's name, Hana's account claimed that Hana had been harassed online by her ex-boyfriend, had taken sleeping pills in the morning, and was now in the hospital for gastric lavage and treatment. It seemed like this mother-daughter duo was going all out. I was extremely disheartened, knowing that once we reached this point, there would be no turning back. There was no way I was going to sit idly by. I decided to visit Hana in person. I quickly made my way to the hospital and found out which room Hana was in. But as soon as I exited the elevator, Auntie Lynn blocked the doorway. She started wailing and tried to push me away. Outside the hospital room, Auntie Lynn was hysterically accusing me in front of everyone. "Hiro, how dare you come to the hospital? My daughter needs rest and can't be disturbed by you. If you take another step, I'll call the police." I tried to remain calm. "Auntie Lynn, let's talk calmly. I just want to check on Hana." While trying to pull Auntie Lynn aside, I signaled to the man accompanying me to sneak into the hospital room. Everyone's attention was focused on me and Auntie Lynn, so no one noticed the man entering the room. "Oh my God, someone help! I'm being filmed again!" We heard a young woman's voice from the room. Clearly, it was Hana. Given her lung capacity, it was obvious she wasn't unwell. We all rushed into the room to find Hana lying on the bed, holding an apple in one hand and a tablet in the other, watching a show. She looked rosy and completely healthy. On the other side, the man with the hat was Yuki, tightly gripping his camera and recording the scene. A nurse walked in and said, "This is a hospital. Please leave immediately. The patient needs rest or we will call security." In front of everyone, I pretended to be surprised. "Hana, didn't you have your stomach pumped? How are you still so energetic?" The nurse, puzzled, said, "Stomach pumped? This patient said she was uncomfortable after a gastroscopy and is resting here. By the way, you all need to leave soon. Hospital beds are in high demand, and you don't really need to be hospitalized. Please make room for patients who actually need it." In front of everyone, both Hana and Auntie Lynn finally lowered their heads in shame and embarrassment. "I'm sorry. It looks like I misunderstood. I'll be leaving now." I motioned for Yuki to follow me out. As soon as we got downstairs, I heard Hana's voice calling out to me for the first time in a long while. I turned around and saw Hana running toward me. I signaled Yuki to step back. Now it was just me and Hana. It felt like we were back to the beginning. Hana suddenly threw herself into my arms, crying and apologizing. "I'm sorry, Hiro. It's all my fault. I hurt you. I've made money now. I'll repay all the money I spent and we can start over, okay?" Hana then looked up from my embrace, her big, tear-filled eyes looking pitiful. For a moment, it felt like we were back in the old days. "My dear Hana," I sighed quietly, reaching out to gently wipe the tears from her eyes with my right hand. Slowly, I said, "So, you finally realized the mistake you made?" Hana smiled softly and answered, "Yes, Hiro, I know I was wrong. Please promise me. Don't let your colleague post today's information online. You can just say on Weibo that we've reconciled and I'll go back to managing my fan account. Let's pretend none of this happened, all right?" But just as my right hand, which had been caressing her cheek, tightened and moved down to grip her neck, my left hand joined in, choking her. Hana's expression instantly froze, her smile turning into a grotesque, terrifying grimace from the pressure I was applying. It felt as though I was finally seeing her true nature. "Hana, even now you're still trying to deceive me. In the end, all you care about is yourself. You show no remorse whatsoever. Hiro, stay strong!" Yuki's voice, coming from a distance, brought me back to my senses. I quickly released my grip, and Hana fell to the floor, clutching her neck. She gagged, then began to curse me. "Men are all worthless. How did someone like me end up with a toad like you? Even if you were reincarnated 100 times, you'd never deserve anything from me. And let me tell you something. Manager Ken won't just fire you. As long as I continue working with him, I'll be a millionaire soon. Ha ha ha." I had cursed Hana 100 times in my mind, but I knew I couldn't resort to such barbaric actions. I am a gentleman, and she is a scoundrel. I could never stoop so low for her. Just then, Auntie Lynn stumbled out of the hospital entrance, clutching her phone, begging her daughter, "Daughter, please send money to your mom quickly." Hana stood up, looking annoyed, and snapped at her mom. "Mom, what are you doing? Can't you see I'm busy cursing this worthless man?" Auntie Lynn, looking at me, turned back to Hana and held up 5 fingers. "You owe 5,000? Hana asked, looking confused. Auntie Lynn shook her head. Then Hana said, "What? You owe 50,000? Auntie Lynn shook her head again, and finally, with a slight blush of embarrassment, Auntie Lynn admitted, "I've opened more than a dozen credit cards, some in your name, and now I can't pay them off." Hana, now furious, started scolding her mother. You can't even read. How did you manage to open credit cards? Auntie Lynn began crying again, pointing at me. I couldn't believe my ears. Hana's mother had been so extravagant, opening credit cards in excess and maxing them out. In her fury, Hana cursed at me and even tried to hit me, but bystanders quickly intervened. I remained motionless, not reacting. Hana, I said coldly, I only told your mom where to get a credit card. I didn't encourage her to overspend, so I don't bear any responsibility for her actions. This is all on her. You two truly are a perfect match, both extravagant and spendthrift. Mom, it's okay. I don't have that much money right now, but we still have Manager Ken, Hana said, pulling out her phone, trying to make a call in front of me, but no one answered. She then tried a WeChat voice call, but her whole body stiffened. Then, with a sudden collapse, she cried out, shaking. Auntie Lynn, panicking, asked, What's wrong, daughter? If Manager Ken doesn't answer, we'll go find him in person. Hana, crouching and clutching her head, trembled as she whispered, No need to find him. He blocked me. Auntie Lynn, seeing this, began cursing me, blaming me for everything. Yuki, noticing the scene, was ready to take more photos and videos, but I stopped him. I've already gotten my revenge. Let's leave them some dignity. Without a word, I walked out of the hospital, each step feeling lighter. It was as if the path outside was blooming with flowers under the sun, ushering in a fresh start. 1 year later, the door to Manager Ken's office opened, and Yuki entered, holding a stack of documents. He placed them on my desk, where I now sat in the manager's chair. Manager, these are the latest quarterly reports from Group A. I had returned to a higher position after Manager Ken was fired due to the scandal. I had taken over his role and was promoted due to my exceptional performance. I also promoted Yuki from Group B to Group A, making him the department head. Manager, have you heard the latest about Hana? Yuki, seeing that I was busy with the materials, continued. Guess where Hana went after her livestream account was banned? She and her mother ran to the Pearl River Delta, but they haven't changed. Still as vain and irresponsible as ever. Hana got involved with a wealthy factory owner, but it turns out he's married. She was beaten by his wife, and it made local headlines. I saw it on my phone and forwarded it to you. No need, I replied without looking up. They are no longer my concern. I continued with my work, unaffected. Yuki gave me a thumbs up and said, Manager, you're incredible. Who knew you'd have such brilliant tactics for revenge? I want to learn from you. These aren't my tactics, I said, finally looking up at Yuki's puzzled face. The reason I succeeded is because of their own greed, which led to their downfall. I merely accelerated their self-destruction. When two people are truly open and sincere in a relationship, no external storm can shake it. Hana took advantage of my genuine feelings, misusing my love. In the end, her own evil intentions led her astray, and she paid the price. Now I've achieved career success and earned the respect of my colleagues and family. I look forward to finding real love in the future.